Okay, so welcome to part 2, everybody. If you are somebody that's not watched part 1, stop the video right now and go back and do the requisite viewing of part 1. I'm saying you're not really qualified to be over here right now. I'm saying you just ain't really qualified. So we can't even take you. So we can't even take you. So you're not qualified. So you're not qualified. So I'm saying, so stop the video. So I'm saying, stop playing. So I'm saying, don't make me tell you again. So I'm saying, right, stop the video. So I'm saying, stop it now. You're saying, and go see part 1. So I'm saying, thumbs up the joint first. Then take your butt over there and watch part 1. Thank you. Now, to the rest of us who have done our jurisprudence. So, the first thing I want to talk about, everybody, is I want to talk about the visitation scene between this guy that I can't remember his name. But before I get into that, and I want to talk about also, before I get to that, just to demonstrate the thoroughness of what Ava did, this is the perfect example. After the Latino kid gets out, whose father is played by John Leguizamo, there's a scene where he goes to take a shower. He gets in the shower, and we see his upper body, from the back, and when she pans down, he's in his boxers. This said it. This represented a level of jurisprudence and thoroughness that I could really appreciate, because I worked in a men's prison for 3.5 years. Before that I did 2 years of juvenile corrections, but I worked 3.5 years in a men's prison. This was thorough because here he was at home now. She's demonstrating the psychology, and he still was institutionalized in his mind because he gets in the shower with his boxers on, because you would do that in the institution. A lot of brothers, they're not taking their drawers off. It's just not going down. They get in the shower, they keep their boxers on, you know what I'm saying? And I really appreciated that as an officer, because if you are the one who is given the task of being on duty when they shower, I don't want to watch no grown men shower, in any state of dress or undress. But I appreciate it if you keep your damn boxers on. Thank you for that. So it represented another level of thoroughness, and to give you, because this was more than just what we normally see when any case like this is covered, be it real or fictional. This was real. This was different and unique and set apart in its own identity, because you, as the viewer, got a chance to be in the minds, the space, the experience, the emotion of these characters. Excuse me. Both inside the institution and out. You see, it's enough to be an African person in this, the asshole of Satan, the throne of evil, the incubator of the devil. And that brings its own trauma. We walk around with PTSD. We should be on every medication. And that goes double for any of us that have had to be in any of their institutions as incarcerated, recaptured slaves, really. She did a fantastic, and also a little bit more on him before I digress. We realized that these boys were virgins before and after. You understand? So even when the Latino kid, when he is meets this girl that he likes. Um, he doesn't have the experience. He hasn't been taught. He doesn't have the intellectual property of how to, and he hasn't had an opportunity to even form his own identity of how to interact with the opposite sex. And he tells her, he hurts her feelings, and unintentionally, and he says, look, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. And it wasn't about sexual intimacy. It was just about the whole thing. He says, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. This is new for me. Even one of the other characters, it might have been Yusef. No, it wasn't Yusef. It was one of the other, the youngest one, who had originally been hit by the police. Was that him? Anyways, he's working at like a movie theater, I think, and he's sweeping up, and the sister hits on him, and he says to her, and the pain he went through, because the parents were also traumatized, everybody, because when the one that played the Michael guy with the slash that I told you from The Wire, when he comes down there for his son, they convince him to go in there and tell his son to just confess. But the devil-ass white cop takes him out in the hall and is like, when were you in prison? And basically insinuating, we're going to make your life difficult if you don't go back in there and tell him to do this. So it set up a resentment between him and his son. And even when he got out, he had all this resentment for him. Because he left. He wanted to be at the trial. He wanted to be there for his son. But he had to stay away. It was so many things. You must see this. You must. And their reconciliation when his father is near death, and he embraces him, and it was just so powerful. But another thing to point out, Yusuf is the one that got married, you see, because I told you we can't engage with women except for the purpose of marriage. We're not trying to holler at you. We're not just going to be dating you eternally. No. Only reason why I'm hollering at you is, are you trying to marry me? Our marriages happened very quickly, because even in the scene where, who I think was the youngest one that had the thing on his eye, I can't remember, when he comes to one of these group sessions, they're out now. Yusuf is there, and they are so glad to see each other. It's a moment. Again, you feel it. And he says, they're kind of catching up, and he says, I got married. He goes, you got married? It's only been 9 months. He goes, no, it's only 7 months. Well, we picked up on that immediately as Muslims, but I hope you also were struck by that. We ain't got time to be playing around. That's not the way it's meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Listen, using nature again. Animals sniff. Yep, that's the one. Then they mount them and get their freak on. You know what I'm saying? Have puppies. You feel me? It's not all this, I'm just around you and I'm just, no. Get up there, smell it, she the one. Get up on that. So, I appreciate they show that. But also in that scene, the bitch from hell, white bitch from hell, that was running the class, she tells him, as a part of being in this course, are you prepared to take responsibility for your crime? And now he's a deer in headlights, and Yusuf stands up again, the Muslim, usually the one that has some education and knows something about something that's going on, stands up and says, I already told you, we represent that, we lied then, and that's what got us into this situation. We're not going to stand here and lie again. She goes, is this going to be the 5th time I've thrown you out? And they both end up leaving, and, so. Wow. But I digress to the visitation, because the one whose name I can't remember, the last one to get out, damn it. Because I should have done this right when right after I seen the film, hit record. Well, I didn't. And it's been a couple days. Alright, I have things to do. I'm producing, I'm writing, I'm modeling. I'm doing shows. I'm doing a lot. So I just didn't have time. I just didn't have time. I just couldn't do it. Um, one of the prisons that he's in, they had this little partition thing. It wasn't the glass, but it also wasn't the open area where families meet. But they have this little thing that's just like, so you don't look on somebody else's paper almost. Your family member is sitting right there and you're not allowed to touch them. It's medieval torture, everybody. It's meant to be evil. Why wouldn't it be? Because it is from the architects of evil. The architects of evil. The architects of evil. The architects of evil. And he still reached over it because he needed to touch his mother. And that really got me to tears because, I've told you guys a million times, I spent the first year of my life in the hospital. My mom died when I was 6 months old. I will never know what it is to touch your mother. Just to touch her. Purposely or incidentally. But I knew the longing in that moment for just human touch, and especially from your mama. And of course they dragged him out of there kicking and screaming and all of it. Okay, fine. But there was a moment. He's been through hell, remind you. He's been stabbed. He's been beaten within an inch of his life. He was not expected to live. He's been the bitch that worked, a sister that worked in the damn nursing office, couldn't give him any medication and the proper care and give him any help because the devil-ass cop was standing over there. It was just all things bad. But when his mother, Niecy Nash is playing his mother, and she says, so how are you doing in here? And whenever he gets caught up, he goes, which also made him even more endearing. Like, you're going to love him. You're going to love all of them. But this one, you just will love him. You will love him even more. Even more. And I don't know if he's the one that Ava was talking about, because in her interview that I saw, she mentioned there was one of the actors who, he's not an actor, but he had somehow contacted her and sent her something and said, I can act, if you just give me a chance. I feel like this is him. But, she asked him, how are you doing in here? And he and then did you get a hold of Yusuf? And he just goes past it, protecting his mother. Ow. Because even just before that, when he said, Mom, if you could just put something on my books, even if it's just $10 or $20, I could just get me some candy or something, if you just give me something. She says, I don't have nothing to give you. Oh, I had hot tears. You listen, y'all know I cried everything. And I make no secret about that. I cry at everything that touches my heart, that's appropriate, that draws my tears. I'm not changing. I don't need to. I don't need to. And so I would suggest to you that you have some tissue at your ready when you watch this. Because she does such a good job of really taking you inside of the psychology of these characters. There's many ways you could have done this. You could have been, because the white devil system is implied. Like, that's a given. Like, why, we see the sky is there. Do we really need to focus on it? It's there. It was more than that. Because she dealt with they as too. But she did a very good job of that balance of let's keep it to them so you really understand what this means, so that you finally leave one of these stories understand this is not just some police story if somebody went to jail wrongfully convicted and got out. There's a whole world that they went through before, during, and after that must be acknowledged, and that story must be told, and she told it. Go, Ava. Wow. Just that thing between him and Niecy Nash, his mama, you know. And then it turns out his brother was a trans something. I don't know what they call him now, because I can't with this all these alphabet people. Like, to me, you straight or you gay, then that's it. Like, I can't. You pick, you like men or women. Like, that's all I need to know. Don't give me all this other fucking stuff. I can't. So his brother was a trans something. But that story was also very touching, because Niecy was very against it. Told him to get out. He was dressed in women's clothes, makeup and a wig and all that. And the casting on that was fantastic, because I believed them as brother and sister. I believed them. I believed them. I'm like, yeah, they related. They related. They're related. But she dealt with that. She wanted him out. He was calling himself Marcy or something, and she had named him something else. And you know, he went back to that in his mind while he was in solitary confinement, because also she died while he was in prison. And he went through hell, everybody. When I finished seeing this, I was just like, you know, I don't have a lot of stuff that I bitch about in life anyway, because I tell you guys all the time, I live in a space of gratitude. I'm just as grateful for a copper penny as I am for $100 bill, and anything that anyone does for me in the society, I'm grateful for. I'm not a man that lives in a mansion and I have the latest car and all that. I live in a place of gratitude. I take inventory of my blessings. I do. I do. I do. But this made me double down on that. Double down. Double down. Because he went through hell. There's another word to describe it. And people use that terminology all the time, and it really falls as a cliche next to this. Once you see this, you go, yeah, that's, every time I've heard that, that's been cliche. That wasn't really hell. This was hell. This was hell. This. When his transgender, I guess it's trans, because they have transsexual, transgender, trans something else, and there's like 4 or 5 different transes, y'all. Now she's trans something. But when his trans sister is being kicked out by Niecy, and he said, what about all your stuff? And she said, I don't need none of this stuff. I don't need nothing else in this place. One thing I care about in this place is you. Oh, it was just so loving. It was everything, dude. It was just everything. It was everything. He went back in time when the night they went to the park. He was with his little girlfriend. You know, that little young love. They in like a little spot, just having some fries and a burger. It was just so simple, you know. If that doesn't take you back to your very first date, especially the fellas, I don't know who you are, you know. You had that. You had that. You had it. She just did such a good job, dude. But he replayed in his mind when they come to the window of this little eatery that they're in. He said, "Come on, we're going to the park. Come on." And he was like, "Okay, I'm coming." He left her there. Well, he replays it when he's in solitary. And they come knocking. And he goes, "No, I'm not coming. I'm not coming. I'm going to get up with y'all later on, though." You know? He's so good, y'all. They're all fantastic. You will fall in love with every single one of them. You will be in their mental and emotional space. But he has a special assignment because he does such a good job of playing someone who really is illiterate and just doesn't have the same intellectual properties as everybody else. It was, oh man, oh my God. It's the best thing I've watched in a very long time. Like, that's real. That's real. When they see us. And to its title, you know, they had picked up on, because, you know, even still to today, people say, man, y'all wildin', you know. Well, they had mentioned this when they had been in the interrogation room. And the big headline, because white folks always like something they can use, wilding. And every white person in America was like, picked up on this and had no idea what they were talking about and weren't even saying it properly. Wilding, you know, they made them out to be savages and these animals and the same shit they still do in 2019. Like I say, these people are never going to change. We don't have any obligation to ever try to fucking get along with them and assimilate into their damn society. We need to do our own fucking thing and study on being only with our own self. You are never going to get along with these people. You understand? Because for two parties to ever have reconciliation, first of all, it has to be pure intention, desire. You see? You're never going to get to that with them. You can't. It's not even, they're not even capable of it. So stop trying. You see? And you'll have a better, easier life with a lot less stress. Nothing has changed. Nothing. Nothing has changed. You understand? And this illustrates that. Like I say, this could have been told, if they don't tell you this is the 1980s and give you period wardrobe and music and stuff, you'd be like, this is right now. Who's that? Do we know them? That just happened? That just happened, huh? Because the same shit by the same devilish ass people. Same. Nothing has changed. Nothing. And you only dilute yourself away from reality when you try to buy into this idea that there's been all this progress. It's all a facade. You understand? There's a great quote that says, no man is more enslaved than a man who is enslaved and thinks he's free. I know who I am. I know who I am. But I also know my enemy, my environment, and my condition. And I'm under no illusions. You understand? And I'm not drinking the liquid of fantasy. You see? Not drinking from that cup. No thank you. I'll remain in reality where I can see everything in HD. You understand? And stay focused on the targets at all times, at all cost. At all cost. Even when there's a new set of eyes that's put on the case years later, and the original whore, the prosecutor who assigned the courtroom prosecutor, the DA, I should say, because the DA and the prosecutor. And she takes her to lunch and shows her, you've been writing books, and she puts her stack of books up there on the table of all the shit she's written about the case. You've been making money. These boys have been suffering in prison. When there's all this stuff that you should have looked at, no acknowledgement. She walks out of the meeting. You see, typical. They want to be right even when they're wrong. That is a psychotic entity that you would run from in any other setting. You see? Nah, you don't have time for anyone like that on the earth, ever, for any reason at all. Ever. You understand? So, she does a fantastic job of bringing these, and one kid that I told you the sister hit on him at the movie theater. She worked there and he worked there. You know, he ends up, because he's got his mindset on going to school. That might have been Yusef. But he had his mindset on going to school and things he had to do. And by the way, Yusef was the most successful even after the fact, because while they were, everybody's a felon, nobody can get a job, he was building away. And dude was like, how did you get into computers? He's like, I taught myself this, and I taught myself this, and I taught myself this, and I did it. You see, again, it's a different thing. Even the mothers clashed early on because they were accusing Yusef's mother, thinks she better than everybody. She was like, no, my child is different. She's trying to say, you know, she wasn't saying, or she didn't say what I say, and I don't know if she was really implying it to the extent that I say it, but bottom line is, I tell you all the time, you're teaching your children one thing and raising them a different way than the Muslim is. You understand? This is why 86% of our people are not me. We're outnumbered by you. You understand? That's that whole class that's holding us, that's helping our oppressor to hold us back. That's your Congressional Black Caucus. That's every black pundit you've ever seen on MSNBC or CNN or Fox or anything like that. This is all of your love and hip hop people and your, people that would go on The Bachelor to even be considered for a white heifer, and just anything you're gonna, all your hip hop, everybody in the society is in the black Christian folks that don't have any connection to the divine. They don't have a way of life. They don't have a code of living, and they have no loyalty to themselves or their people. Period. The damn end. You're not going to get change in this damn nation until people like me are the ones that are representing our people. That's what's real, everybody. That's what's real. That's what's real. Because we have the heart of the lion. We fear only the one that created us, and we know the one that created us. You understand? And we know his true word to mankind. We know it. We know it. We know it. We know it. You understand? And so we are not in love with this life. You understand? And we're willing to give our life for what is right. Period. Give our life for righteousness. Give our very life for righteousness. Give our life. Give our life. Give our life. You see. So so they, of course, had the same reaction that most of these godless Christian folks will have, that she thinks she better than them. Well, she is better than you. And not in an arrogant way. It's just that, it's just an acknowledgement of fact. You understand? She's better than you. You know, she's made different choices that have put her in a position that she's better than you. And she's reaping the benefit of her choices now and what she's installed in her child in this situation. So it's just different. It's just different. Damn it. It's just different. You understand? Deal with it. Wow. Like I said earlier, it's an emotional roller coaster, everybody. But it's told so completely and thoroughly through the eyes and the experience of these brothers that went through this. You feel this peace. You feel it. You know, fine, it's on Netflix, but damn it, this should have been on the big screen. You know, maybe it'll reach more people. You don't have to leave your house. Okay, fine. But I think it could have been in both and not an either or. I think it could have been on Netflix, and damn it, it could have been on the big screen too. You know, this is must-see curriculum. It should be shown in every school, of all grade levels, from kindergarten up, preschool up, into graduate school even. This should be shown. It should be mandatory watching for any and all police so-called law enforcement. We just call them bullshit provocateurs. Mass incarcerators, murderers, pick a word, anything other than peace and, law enforcement. It should be shown in every expression of that field, It should be mandatory watching. Just so we know you saw it. Just so we know you saw it. Oh, we're getting close to the end. I'm gonna land it here, y'all. I will say that my next video I'll be back with is going to be so that I have it archived on film, telling you that Trump will be reelected for another 4 years and why that's going to happen. So that will be out there, and then after it happens, I will come back and do my "I told you so" video. All right. I'm also threatening, through this same technology. I'm threatening a live stream event tomorrow, Sunday, in the interim. Just to see, because why not? I always tell you, if you want something you never had, you got to do something you never did, you know. And I do what I preach, you know. So, and maybe that might be what I preach in the live stream, is just for starters, you know. But that, I know that's the next topic I want to talk about, because I want to get that archived and out the way. I want to say again, thank you to Pt.2. I love you, and thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. As my stomach growls. Shout out to Javashi also. Shout out to you, my sister. Shout out to Mika, Maggie, Pamela, Empress Day Akibalan, Cassandra. Shout out to Kai. Shout out to Terrence. Shout out to Marcus. Shout out to oh, y'all. We'll do more in the live stream. We'll do more in the live event. Inshallah, we'll do that. I want to say I thank you guys, and I love you all for viewing the video. Do thumbs up the video, everybody. Always remember to watch the Jedi in full screen, and do thumbs up the video. All right. That helps its searchability, and because I'm not just here to talk to two people. I want anything that I proclaim